Afternoon, everybody. Los Angeles County Veterans Advisory Commission. Uh, This meeting is called to order. So moving on to agenda item number 2, Commissioner Chavez.
In recognition of our service members, we ask that all who have served to please stand as part of our safe acknowledgement. Thank you. We ask that you now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Great, thank you, Commissioner Chavez. Put on the agenda item number 3, get a roll call.
Commissioner Crooks,
Present.
Commissioner Palmero, Commissioner Jackson Kelly,
Present.
Commissioner McFadden,
Present.
Vice Chair Chavez,
Present.
Chair Gutierrez,
Present.
Commissioner Fulmer,
Present.
Commissioner Zato,
Present.
Commissioner Noyola, Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you. So I'm moving on to agenda item number 4. In your packets, Commissioners, you will find the last meeting's minutes. Please take a moment to review, and then when you're ready we can discuss or get a motion to approve.
Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
Commissioner Jackson Kelly, I move that we approve minutes.
We have a motion from Commissioner Jackson Kelly
Commissioner Crooks, second that motion.
and a second from Commissioner Crooks. Can we get a roll call vote?
Commissioner Crooks,
Accept.
Commissioner Jackson Kelly,
Accept.
Commissioner McFadden,
Accept.
Vice Chair Chavez,
Accept.
Chair Gutierrez,
Accept?
Commissioner Fulmer,
Accept.
Commissioner Zato.
Accept.
Okay, minutes approved.
Thank you.
Commissioner Noyola accepts.
Oh, Commissioner Noyola. He's online.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner. So moving on to agenda item number 5. MVA.lacounty.gov. Scroll down to the footer and click on get the latest updates. Public comment form reminder. So there's an online form that you can fill out if you wish to do so. If not, when you come to the meeting, there's some forms outside that you can fill out if you wish to make public comment. If it's done prior to the meeting, the commission get the public comment forwarded to us a few days before the meeting. So we're still working to get some presentations going. I know we had something scheduled this month that's going to be, the last minute has to be postponed for another month. But we're working to get all the commissioner agenda items on the calendar. You guys will notice the change of public comment for agenda items. So this meeting is going to be a little different. There is a change. If you attended the previous meetings, you would have noticed that after every agenda item, we were opening it up for public comment. The way we're gonna do it this meeting and moving forward is we're gonna have public comment for agenda items towards the end. So any agenda items the public would like to address can be addressed all at one time. And that will be agenda item number 13 this month. So again, any agenda items that you wish to make public comment on will be made during agenda item number 13. We will no longer do it after every agenda item. There will be agenda item number 6, a general public comment. So for those that just had a general public comment that didn't necessarily have to be on this agenda, you can make public comment during agenda item number 6. So, and that is the chairman's report. So moving on to agenda item number 6, which is general public comment. So we do have some submissions this month for general public comment. We have, thank you. Do we have Gregory Brake? Great. Give me 1 second. Let me give you some time for general public comment and also for the agenda item public comment. You will still have 3 minutes. So your 3 minutes will begin once you begin. Sure thing. Ready when you are.
You ready?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for having me here. And I'm Greg Brake, the Executive Director of Foster Warriors, and it's essentially Navy SEALs and their allies, all the armed services mentoring foster youth that aged out of the system. And that means they're 18 and older. We do these 24-hour challenges. John Fulmer has been on one. We've actually did the Bob Hope Patriotic Call, where the connective tissue between the veterans and foster youth that are clamoring for mentorship. Why do we do it? Well, Chuck Ruback and I, partner that started it, really heavily decorated Navy SEAL. He was speaking at a lot of funerals that SEALs were killing themselves. My daughter attempted suicide her junior year in high school. She wanted me to do something to help people that might have that issue. Anyhow, so we took the 24-hour challenge that the SEAL teams do, and we applied that to foster youth. So we do these 24-hour challenges, another one coming up in July, seeking support at Pepperdine University. And what we do is we hike out, and then there's a come back and there's a learning moment when we teach the foster youth 3 things. One is to honor their word, the importance of honoring your word. The second thing is intentional goals. So you want to be a movie star? Okay, then you're going to be prepared to be told 350 times that you stink, you know? And so there's a truly intentional goals. And the third one is in working I'm more of the corporate fixer and the deal guy. And I helped Rich Davini, who wrote the book, The Attributes. He led SEAL Team 6. And I asked him, I said, what's different about SEALs? You're going to be another SEAL like Jocko and, you know, all these guys. I said, what is it about SEALs that are different? And he said, they're masters of uncertainty. I was like, who doesn't want to be a master of uncertainty? So that's what we bring in. And you know, several veterans, Mo Eldaw, Penelope Korf were 2 veterans that I met, Air Force and Army. Neither one of them were able to get things going in their lives for years. But after the 24-hour challenge, Penelope could almost barely get her to participate. She's so busy. And in her acting and movie career, and then Mo Eldaw was security. I'd given him a phone number to the owner of the largest security firm before he did a 24-hour challenge. He did not call the guy. I didn't understand why. After the 24-hour challenge, he had this renewed vision. It's like, civilians are just like me, you know, and now he flew in from England to participate in the last 24-hour challenge because he's protecting, you know, wealthy people. So what have we done? How have we helped? We've had a lot of our veteran mentors have joined the American Legion. We've introduced a lot of foster youth. I've brought them to recruiters. They have a different view of the military. You know, at that Bob Hope Patriotic Call event, we had all kinds of events tying the two together. And lastly, I always tell everybody I'm half Italian, and so our family, it's like anybody that helps our family, I help, and I'll do anything. And John knows it. One of the veterans that mentored Dr. Schumacher, I just introduced him to the deans at the level at Pepperdine University, the highest levels within that university in a number of different areas. And so it's a
Thank
really
you,
good
sir.
synergy. Thank you.
Appreciate it. So next we have Kojo Victor. This is virtual. Is Kojo Victor? Do we have them online? Kojo Agbodeka? Nope. Okay. So next we have Suzette Manriquez. Oh, wait, there's a hand up. Is that one? Is that who it is? So that's Victor Agbodeka? That's a different one? Okay. So Suzette Manriquez? Do we have Suzette Manriquez? No. No, okay. Steve Ramirez? Do we have Steve Ramirez? Nope, okay. Do we have a Jason Robinson? Okay, thank you, sir.
Hi, thank you, Commissioners. Jason Robinson with SHARE, the Self-Help and Recovery Exchange. We're a 501c3 contractor with Los Angeles County. I just want to let the commissioners and everybody know our SHARE Collaborative Housing Program has vacancies for veterans. People can move in immediately. We've got approximately 24 vacancies today. So people can go to SHARE's website, which is www.shareselfhelp.org. They can also call 877-SHARE-49. That's SHARE, 877-SHARE-49, and we'll connect people to housing immediately. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Uchis? Okay. I have two. Okay, thank you. So next up, we have Crystal Rains.
So my name is Crystal Rains. I'm a U.S. Air Force veteran. I've made this for general comment, but it does apply to the agenda items as I saw on Monday after I had started writing this. I'm requesting and inquiring clarity on supportive housing for women veterans on the LA campus. In meeting with women over the last few months, I've learned several distressing things. I mentioned the hot water issue and loss of housing that resulted from complaining about it at the New Directions Oasis facility last month. I'm asking what the plan is for women's transitional housing is on campus. I know that it's up for bid, the Oasis program at the end of September. I hope that it's not only tiny houses, which I've been told by one woman is like living in a plastic box. It's not a healthy option, even for overnight. It is better than a tent on the street, but that's a pretty low bar. I'm wondering if any folks administering the program have spent a night in a tiny home. Might be a beneficial step in deciding if this is the best option to offer our women veterans. I'm inquiring about the past plans for women's permanent housing, currently building 210, which was supposed to be done in July, that may be done by the end of the year. But that has been proposed and in the plans and then discarded or ignored over many years of this housing project. In speaking with housing folks on the ground, they have said that it would be beneficial to have a building for male veterans with children as well as our women veterans. And I was just speaking to the head of Women's Health, and she said that pregnant women are also in desperate need for housing. Providing another choice than to be in the building that's filled with men who are not considerate, sometimes dangerous, and disruptive to other residents for a variety of reasons. I know there are some women veterans in permanent housing that have signed lists. I hope some have had to give up one-bedroom vouchers to be available to the first available and ended up in a studio. I'd hope that if a woman veteran building is allocated, there's a way to transfer those leases if they prefer to be in a newer all-women's building. A follow-up issue with women's supportive housing is also the program at the domiciliary. From what I've heard, I'd suggest someone do a follow-up survey on the women domiciliary program graduates to see what helped and what could be better in that program. I also suggest asking if the program name change 2 years ago has impacted their lives in negative ways, especially in family court. Currently, I'm told that there are 14 permanently housed women on campus, 18 beds available at Oasis, 8 women in the domiciliary, and possibly 12 vets at CTRS tiny houses. When asking where the women veterans, you might ask yourself, has there been secure and consistent place made for them? I am not, nor have I been in any of the interim housing programs on or off campus, but that's only a fluke of circumstances. I am getting my care under means. I have secure housing. To learn how women have been and are treated has been eye-opening for me. It should not be a condemnation of any woman who struggles with housing in Los Angeles. Between the exploitive housing market and the known economic pay differential between genders, we should be planning and building more supportive housing for women veterans, but it must be safe, consistent, and empowering. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we do have, it looks like some public comments online. There's some hand raised. So we're going to start with Braden Yoder.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. 3 minutes. I'll go right now. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, my name is Braden Yoder. I'm an Army veteran of OIF-1. I received my health care at the West LA VA, and I'm here to comment now in support of the proposal to restore the Pacific branch of the National Soldiers Home on the VA campus north of Wilshire under the jurisdiction of the National Park Service. I'm in favor of this proposal because it's been nearly a decade now that we've been advocating and waiting for the development of a community space on the North Campus, which was written into the draft master plan of 2016. I was involved then with a group called VA The Right Way, which campaigned for a community-minded approach to the campus's redesign, one in which veterans could interact and socialize with other veterans in something like a Veterans Commons, which the Urban Land Institute called for in its Town Center report of 2023. Yet while we celebrate the additional units of permanent supportive housing that have been built, we're still waiting on the community development we were promised. I'm in favor of this proposal because I was commissioned into the Army in Northern California, where I bought my first uniforms at the Presidio of San Francisco, which had already by that time been transferred to the National Park Service in 1994. I'm sure you're all familiar with the op-ed entitled Let VA Be VA. Who else can save the Pacific branch, which advocated for the adoption of this same Presidio-style model for the North VA campus. Not only has this model proved wildly successful in San Francisco, where the National Park Service has rehabilitated literally hundreds of historic buildings, not unlike the structures found on the North Campus, the precedent already exists for the West LA VA to divest itself of functions it's not equipped to carry out. As the op-ed points out, the GSA runs the federal building while the National Cemetery Administration cares for services of the Los Angeles National Cemetery. Finally, I'm in favor of this proposal because I believe, as my grandfather used to say, the proof is in the pudding. It's been the better part of a decade now, and we're still no closer to a Veterans Commons on the North Campus, which speaks to VA's inability or unwillingness to implement the visions we veterans would like to see there. I'll call your attention quickly to the LA Times article of last October 16th entitled, "The VA failed to disclose findings of a survey that shows keen interest, veteran interest, in a hotel," which over 75% of respondents expressed desire for hotel or hospitality services for veterans and their families over things like a museum or a library. Clearly, something has to change. The proposal to transfer the North VA campus to the jurisdiction of the Park Service and adopt the Presidio model, I believe, is the right choice for our veteran community in our city, and I want to urge the Commission to endorse it. Thank you.
Thank you. So next up, we have Stephen Yushin.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Stephen Yeshin. I grew up in Los Angeles and joined the Marine Corps in 2001, having given my verbal commitment to the recruiter on the 12th of September. I served with 1st Battalion, 2nd Marines, which deployed to OIF as the assault element of Task Force Tarawa. After returning home to Los Angeles, I attempted to obtain not only my health care, but also education and vocational assistance from VA. I found the experience underwhelming and demoralizing. To illustrate this point, I told my voc rehab counselor that I wanted to pursue an undergraduate degree and eventually medical school. His response was that I should instead follow the recommendation of a multiple choice test, which determined that I was most suited to become a large-scale fish farmer. I left that meeting and immediately withdrew from the voc rehab program. Last summer, I had the TV on in the background when I heard local news coverage of the VA West LA trial. I was entertained by Judge Carter's comments in regards to filling in Brentwood School's pool with sand. The Marine in me identified with the Marine sitting on the bench. Judge Carter, welcome home and thank you for pushing VA to return the gifted land to its original purpose. A few weeks later, I read the op-ed titled, "Let VA be VA. Who else can save the Pacific Branch?" And this really resonated with me because it actually made sense. We shouldn't be giving VA more things to do beyond what they can handle. And in my experience, VA is not great at handling their primary mission, healthcare. Land management is not task and purpose for VA. If other federal agencies have demonstrated a viable path to mission accomplishment, like the Presidio in San Francisco, I fully support having them or an agency like them take charge. Just because something serves or benefits veterans doesn't mean VA needs to be in charge. We tried that already. The court ruled on it, and VA is still trying to fight it. I think any reasonable person would say that there's something wrong here. In summary, I support the creation of Pacific Branch National Veterans Park. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Chris Tavushis.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good afternoon, Chairman Gutierrez, members of the commission. Thank you for your work on these important matters, and thanks to the previous speakers for advocating for veterans. I'm Chris Tavuchis, a retired Marine, SoCal resident, disabled veteran who remains involved in the veteran care enterprise through the veteran nonprofit space. I speak today in full support of a long overdue correction to an ongoing federal failure, one that could positively affect thousands of veterans and that now dishonors the very land we promised would serve them. The West Los Angeles VA campus is ideally suited to serve as a home for disabled veterans, physical and mental health, provide additional education services, and a place for families to support their veterans. But over time, through the bureaucratic reorganization and misaligned priorities, that mission has been lost. What remains today is a disgrace. Despite it, 2 lawsuits, 2 acts of Congress, multiple Inspector General reports, a recent federal court ruling, and some clear presidential direction in a May 9th executive order to the VA, the VA continues to delay, litigate, and sidestep its responsibilities to restore this land as a place where veterans can live in dignity. The VA is not a community developer. It is a healthcare provider. Managing land, building housing, and creating a supportive residential community are functions outside its core competency. And continuing to force the VA into that role is why we are where we are now, nearly a decade into this plan, with little to show for it. As many speakers before have offered, the solution is clear. Let the VA focus on healthcare where it excels, while shifting stewardship of the underused northern portion of the campus to the National Park Service, which equally excels in this kind of mission. The NPS already manages historical military sites across the country and continues to enjoy public trust. The experience and the ability to work in public-private partnerships, as proven by the successful transformation of the Presidio in San Francisco. This iconic military installation is thriving, self-sustaining, and honors our military history and the service of its members. We should do the same in LA. Veterans don't want to live in hospitals. They want to live in communities with support, purpose, and dignity. We offer them that by establishing the Pacific Branch National Veterans Park, a living monument to those who served, and a recommitment to a promise made nearly 140 years ago. And this can and should be done in partnership with the VA, but not by the VA. In closing, I'd like to thank and praise Anthony Allman for his piece, Let the VA Be the VA, and I'd like to reiterate my full-throated support for this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comment? Online? In person? Yes. Okay. Oppenheim? I think, is there John Oppenheim? Oh, can you unmute John Oppenheim?
Okay,
There we go.
I apologize. I'm a Zoomer. So, thank you. My name is John Oppenheim. I'm an Air Force veteran, and I'm currently the founder and executive director of the Long Beach Area Veterans Collaborative, a nonprofit. I live in Long Beach and belong to the Long Beach VA. I'd like to voice my support for the proposal outlined in Let the VA Be the VA. Who else can save the Pacific Branch is the title. It's published in the Long Beach Press Telegram on Veterans Day. In the 1970s, a book entitled In Search of Excellence was published. The authors chose successful companies to use as examples. And the book contained a list of 10 common traits exhibited by these organizations. The one that stuck with me as I watched the merging of companies in those days and with disparate products and the mess they made was stick to your knitting. Obviously, do what you do best and improve on it. Which brings us to the topic of the VA West LA and its North Campus. In my opinion, by accepting and pursuing development of the historic Pacific Branch, using the Presidio in San Francisco as a proven model for success, the leadership and staff at the VA will not be splitting their expertise, thus enabling them to do what they do best. The VA should stick to its knitting when it comes to providing healthcare services and allow another federal agency more suited to the task to take the reins from here. Thank you.
Thank you. Was that the last public comment? Yeah. Okay, thank you to all the public comment, for all the public comment we received today. That ends agenda item number 6. So we will be moving on to agenda item number 7. This is a presentation for tenant-based and permanent supportive housing from Judson Brown. Is Judson Brown here?
Yes, Chairman Gutierrez, thank you, sir. Do I have 10 minutes still?
Yes, you're still good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir, and thank you to the other speakers. I will be as brief as possible within my 10 minutes because I know item number 9 is very important to everybody. Thank you again, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to former Commissioner Allman and Commissioner Emmons for the invitation to present to the Commission. My name is Judson Brown, and I serve as the housing manager for the city of Santa Ana. I've been the housing manager for our city for the last 10 years. And over the last 5 years, we've reduced homelessness by 19% in our community. We've also produced more affordable housing than any other city in Orange County and have been one of only 18 jurisdictions across the entire state of California to provide affordable housing for all income levels under the regional housing needs allocation. I'm here today to talk to you about vouchers, tenant-based vouchers, comparing those to building and developing permanent supportive housing. This is an extremely important topic to me because we have unused vouchers in Orange County, And my understanding from Commissioner Emmons is that the county of Los Angeles has roughly 2,000 to 3,000 unused vouchers. And so I want to talk to you about why it is incredibly important that we start focusing and talking about unused vouchers and how you as commissioners might be able to support the homeless incentive program through LACDA and HACLA, and begin providing support, whether it be financial or advocating for more support for the landlord incentive program for those housing authorities. Next slide. So next slide. So basic primer, as housing authorities, we can set aside regular housing choice vouchers to address homelessness. We can also apply for various different forms of vouchers, including mainstream vouchers and as VASH vouchers, which is hopefully everybody's very familiar with those VASH vouchers. Next slide. Why is this topic important? Well, voucher utilization is extremely low, alarmingly low across the country. It's at 70. It was at 74% as of December 2023. In Orange County, next slide. In Orange County, it's at 82% for our county, including you see at the second row there, 62 VASH voucher holders searching, with 66 in the pipeline, and this is what we refer to as low-hanging fruit. Next slide. Now, when we pair those tenant-based vouchers like VASH vouchers and other vouchers for people experiencing homelessness with Housing Navigation and Landlord Incentive Program, we can lease up those vouchers very efficiently and effectively, combined with wraparound supportive services for that voucher holder to remain stably housed. Programs such as the Homeless Incentive Program in Los Angeles, the Landlord Engagement and Assistance Program in San Diego, and the Welcome Home OC program in Orange County provide housing navigation and landlord incentive programs similar to this, with moving expenses, security deposits, landlord incentives, and then financial incentives for landlords to accept those vouchers. Next slide. Now, when you compare these vouchers paired with housing navigation and landlord incentives to the traditional model that we use of developing permanent supportive housing for people experiencing homelessness using low-income housing tax credits, the results are mind-blowing. I mean, it seems such a simple concept. Seems like such a simple concept, comparing tenant-based vouchers for people experiencing homelessness versus building new units. But when you compare them side by side, apples to apples, what I'm going to show you is incredibly surprising. So next slide. So as we know, based on this, the issues that we hear, New York Times covered this issue in Los Angeles, that the average cost to develop a new unit was roughly $600,000 with 5 years to build a project. Next slide. And the Turner Center at UC Berkeley found that that over the last roughly 11 years, from 2008 to 2019, there was a 17% increase in the per unit cost to develop affordable housing. Next slide. So in my amazing spare time as a housing manager for the city of Santa Ana, which I don't have, I did this research study as a part-time student when I was working towards a second master's degree at Cal Poly Pomona. And I compared 5 years of tenant-based data versus 5 years of project-based data using the same time range. Next slide. The tenant-based data, the vouchers that I looked at were from the San Diego Housing Commission, as well as from the 4 housing authorities here in Orange County who used the Welcome Home OC program. And so these are the 2 housing navigation and landlord incentive programs that I compared. Next slide. Next slide. And this is next slide. And so this is what I found. I found that over that 5-year period, 2,469 homeless households had been provided housing. And the Housing Navigation and Landlord Incentive Program in San Diego had leased up their voucher holders in an average of less than 98 days. So again, let me stick that with you, 98 days. Whereas Welcome Home OC had leased up their vouchers in less than 81 days. Next slide. You see that visual again by voucher type. Of particular importance and note is the VASH vouchers to the right. So for the Welcome Home OC program, it was 77 days to lease up those vouchers when it's paired with the Housing Navigation and Landlord Incentive Program, and 90 days for the San Diego Housing Commission. Next slide. It's just a summary of 2,400 households. Next slide. Now, when I compared that to the same 5 years, I looked at 5 years of the traditional conventional model where we're needing to build more permanent supportive housing, which I've done. I've 488 units of permanent supportive housing here in Santa Ana that we have financed over the last 6 years. So I've done the same. It takes, on average, 1,215 days to build that housing. Next slide. That 1,215 days equals 3 years and 4 months per household to build that housing. Next slide. Next slide. So now we're looking at the key finding. So our conventional, traditional model of thinking is we just need to build more supportive housing. We just need to build and finance more permanent supportive housing. This is the trajectory that we set ourselves on. This is what we sign up for when we say, okay, let's allocate $10 million, $100 million to build and finance more permanent supportive housing. This is the trajectory we set ourselves on. 1,215 days, or 3 years and 4 months, 3 years and 4 months to build that new housing, versus we could lease up unused vouchers for homeless households in less than 98 days. Next slide. Next slide. And next slide. It is when you compare these side by side, it's 12 times faster to lease up a voucher holder, such as a VASH voucher holder or a Main Street voucher holder, paired with a Housing Navigation Landlord Incentive Program, than building a permanent supportive housing unit for that household. Next slide. Why does that matter? Why? Well, one, it matters because we want to most efficiently reduce and address the homeless crisis in our community and provide housing for people experiencing homelessness. But two, we have unused vouchers. Next slide. And the other reason is that we're addicted. I'd like to say addicted to these golden shovels. I've held many golden shovels before. We have this concept. We just need to build more housing. We just need to finance and build more housing. We're not building enough housing at the rate we need to. Next slide. My thesis is my argument is if we just provide a family with a tenant-based voucher paired with Housing Navigation Landlord Incentives, we can end that household's homelessness in less than 100 days. Again, this is an extremely important topic. The issue came to my attention about 5 years ago, when I had just allocated $10 million for affordable housing development, and meanwhile I was 2 years in, and we had built 33 units so far, and meanwhile our landlord incentive program had leased up over 200 vouchers during that same 2-year period. So I'm doing this. I know I have limited time here, but just want to close by thanking the commission again. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioner Allman and Commissioner Emmons, for the opportunity. If anybody has any interest in this topic further, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'd be happy to talk about this topic more. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Any commissioners have any questions? Commissioner Crooks? Commissioners? First Commissioner.
Thank you for that presentation. Is Orange County currently tracking certain barriers like environmental barriers? I know that the tenant-based vouchers become a little bit of a challenge in certain areas of even our county, such as, specific parts in our downtown region. I wanted to know, how is Orange County tracking those types of barriers right now with tenant-based vouchers?
Yeah, we face the same challenge. Our larger challenge is finding landlords willing to accept those vouchers. So most of our efforts, Commissioner Fulmer, is focused on landlord outreach, and we have roughly 60 landlords participating in our local landlord incentive program. Relative to like specific areas of the county, most of our voucher holders lease up in the same typical areas that our other voucher holders lease up in. So the same barriers that traditional voucher holders face when they're not paired with housing navigation.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, Commissioner DeSato? No? All right, well, thank you, Mr. Brown. We appreciate your presentation. You provided quite a bit of data, so I'm sure we'll take it back and take a look at it. And if we have any questions, we will reach out. But again, thank you for presenting today.
Thank you.
So, all right, so moving to agenda item number 8. It's going to be Village for Vets, Dr. Regina Lopez.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Dr. Regina Lopez. I'm the Director of Operation and Compliance for Village for Vets, and I'm here today to present on my original research named The Impact of Characterization. Next slide. My presentation today will cover 5 areas: the introduction, the overview of the study, the methodology used, the findings, and action items that I have identified. Next slide. So sorry, I tried to lighten up that picture, but that is a picture of me. Well, let me get through my spiel. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I served from 2006, 2010. My MOS was 7041, also known as Aviation Operations Specialist. I served with the Marine Tactical Electronic Warfare Squadron 1 in Cherry Point, North Carolina. That's actually a picture of me on my second deployment there. I did 2 tours to Al-Asad, Iraq. And when I was honorably discharged from the service in 2010, I struggled with unemployment, mental health, and interpersonal challenges. And while as an honorable veteran, I had access to many services, I struggled to find direction. And so eventually I finished school and I transitioned into health and human services field. And this is where I really started to find my new purpose. Given all of my own experiences, transition out of the military and providing support to veterans as a service provider, I made the goal to do something. So I decided to return back to school to get a degree in policy. I attended Northeastern University, a top-tier Art1 institution where I conducted veteran research. The statements I will share today are backed by data, written law and policy, and peer-reviewed research that has been conducted by reputable academic institutions and governmental organizations. And just to say, I'm happy to share my entire thesis with anyone that is interested. Next slide. Okay, so the guiding question of the research is, how do the fundamental differences between honorable and dishonorable veterans impact Access Center's service provision? So my study was focused in LA County. I wanted to look at non-veteran access points. Of course, we all know the veteran access system is very well facilitated with community partners. And however, I was very interested in learning that process on the other end. How are veterans that are seeking services, supportive services for housing, being essentially, I don't say push, but how are they transitioning through that system. So I looked at the homeless population, specifically honorable and dishonorable veterans. And then I also wanted to assess the differences in engagement. So non-veteran access points within the COS, the CES, I also focused specifically on fiscal year 2022. And I conducted a comparative analysis of engagement between honorable and dishonorable veterans. Next slide. Federal law ties core benefits such as the GI Bill, health, disability compensation to honorable discharge. Dishonorably discharged veterans are illegally excluded. So many county and local systems become the safety net of the last resort. Equity studies have shown that less than honorable discharges fall disproportionately on veterans of color and those with service-connected mental health issues. In addition, historical analysis demonstrates a history of reactive policy, often implemented once an issue becomes a widespread phenomenon. Literature on transition, inequality, and Stolzberg's theory of transition frames this analysis. Next slide. So my extensive literature review found 3 key takeaways. Discharge status is the single strongest predictor of benefit access. Bad paper veterans report higher rates of PTSD, substance use, and homelessness. And the third, systems theory emphasizes not just personal resilience drive successful reintegration. Next slide. My methodology, I conducted an interpretive phenomenological analysis focusing on the 14 access center programs in the county. I interviewed staff generally responsible for training and program oversight, so program coordinators, supervisors. I created a 26-question interview to gauge veteran engagement, training, and understanding of veteran needs for that particular provider. And my research was grounded in, again, Stolzberg's theory of transition that links situational factors with outcomes. Next slide. So before I move on to my findings, I wanted to point out a few data snapshots. So for fiscal year 22, Access Center programs served 6,564 clients. 160 individuals were self-reported to be veterans. However, 1/3 of their data, their HMIS profiles, lacked the discharge status. And SPA 5, interestingly enough, saw the largest number of veterans, likely due to the proximity. Okay, I can't say that. I cannot say that word. Proximity. You guys know what I'm saying. To the VA campus. Sorry, that was I swear I practiced this. Okay, next slide. Okay, so here are my findings. And I broke them up into 4 themes. The first theme is compartmentalized service delivery, accelerates response within the CES, the coordinated entry system, but it silos expertise. Providers are limited to their own frame of reference. I went into this study with the assumption that the funder, in this case was at the time, LASA, would be responsible for the implementation and facilitation of training specific to veterans to help service providers understand veteran needs and to be able to provide referral services for veterans. However, what I found is access centers, while they do hand off veterans very quickly to veteran services organizations, they rarely are able to see the rest of how the system works, limiting cross-training and holistic problem solving. So most of the providers reported that because they are not experts in veterans or veteran services, they immediately will refer veterans to VSOs. However, the data shows the lack of understanding of a discharge, the character of discharge, and how that can impact that individual's transition into housing stability. I found that dishonorable veterans have to be rerouted back to the original provider that they engage with, because once they go to a VSO and their discharge is verified, they are no longer able to receive services from that organization, and they have to be rerouted back to the access center. So, second theme, the responsibility of training that should be mandated and monitored by the funder is shifted to the service provider with limited time and resources. Again, I came in with the assumption that the funder would understand and provide the provision of the resources and training needed for these providers. While access centers, non-veteran access centers did not see a lot of veterans, for those that they did see, again, a third of that data was missing very key important information. So funder-led training is sparse. From what my research found, programs with tight staffing struggle with carving out the time for veteran-specific training. Access centers are inundated with a lot of traffic, and they don't necessarily have the time and always the resources to carve out the time for veteran training. So that's just something. It goes more into my theme 3, but I just wanted to mention that. So the next theme is service providers could be more effective with stronger VSO partnerships. VSOs could provide regular training and resource updates to be shared with participants. So what I found is that most of the programs did a really great job of partnering with a veteran services organization. However, I felt as though that relationship could be strengthened if the VSO was able to provide regular training and updates on funding changes and resources. For instance, the SSVF programs received an additional funding, it received additional funding to help victims of the LA fires. That is information that was not trickled down to other programs that may have encountered veterans that lost their housing due to the fires. But again, the access centers programs demonstrated at least they know where to at least send the veteran. And I think that they could really capitalize on that relationship and exchange trainings and information to help both programs to be more effective. Lastly, theme 4, housing instability is compounded by mental health and substance use issues. And this remains to be the largest barrier to sustain engagement for homeless veterans in LA County. Mental health issues and substance use issues were of the most reported barriers to engagement by the providers. And, these factors, of course, compound housing instability, and these issues are much more disabling for veterans that are discharged dishonorably, who cannot tap into the standard VA treatment programs and resources. Next slide. So I wanted to turn the findings into my recommendations into action. And so I grouped my recommendations into 3 categories. The first is quick action. The second is capacity building, and the third is structural reform. So within quick action, the first thing that I recommended is if any provider that is entering an individual that is reported to be a veteran into HMIS, that they must also complete the character of discharge field. That information is vital, it's extremely important, and it also allows the county to see the full scope of veterans and the veteran needs in the county. The second thing is for access center programs to utilize VA squares. VA Squares is a free program provided by the VA that allows community partners that are working within the homeless system to enter in basic information about the individual reporting to be a veteran to verify their veteran status. This would be most helpful for veterans that are dishonorably discharged, as the provider would be able to find out that information on the front end and immediately enter them into resources that they do qualify for at the county level. The next is capacity building. And as I mentioned before, this involves strengthening the relationship between Veteran Services Organization, the partnership between Veteran Services Organization and Access Center programs. These organizations could provide quarterly cross-training to help both on either side of the aisle to understand what resources are available. I have worked with a few veteran services organizations, and even on the VSO side, there is still a gap of knowledge in terms of what resources are available for dishonorable veterans. So it would be beneficial to both providers to understand, and then they could provide, a staff could come over and provide training. The other is enact funder facilitated COC meetings. That was something that was not consistent across the county from what I found in my research. That's something that could really help to a singular meeting where providers within that COC can discuss resources and any changes in funding, and then also answer any questions to help other providers understand what resources are available and programs are available. And lastly, the structural reform. This is an idea that I had when I was first introduced to HMIS. Well, actually, it was Service Point, or the idea before I became more active in the system. I thought that Service Point was a system in which the providers within that COC inputs data, and the system itself will then return with recommendations on programs and resources available to that individual. HMIS is as it currently operates, it's a database, more so for tracking data and providing aggregate data for reporting at the kind of higher level. My structural recommendation is to integrate a live HMIS dashboard that can match clients, individuals entered into CES based on their VI SPDAT score to an open bed in real time. So whether it's within that service planning area or extended out to the entire county. But what I found in my research is that providers have to conduct code calling in order to identify resources, and a lot of programs may have a long shelter wait, but if we could update HMIS system, we could potentially shorten the pipeline to housing stability by allowing providers to be able to offer a bed at the time that they're entered into CES. Next slide. So I wanted to close with a quote from one of my participants who happens to also be a veteran. He said, we're a functioning bureaucracy that's just a sad reality. And sometimes, we do our best to help them navigate it. And I can usually explain it very well. It's where they understand that this is not us, this is not us, the barrier. This is not us not wanting to help you. This is us being confronted with the barrier because of funding reasons, because of programmatic reasons, or because of the way the programs are set up. There are a lot of flaws in the system, but at least there is a system. And so I believe that we could do better at just having a system. And so I want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to present today. And I just want to open the floor for any questions.
Commissioners, questions? Commissioners?
your subject matters, were they gender neutral, or did you have a certain more percentage of one than other?
That is a good question. I would say it was about a split, probably 50-50, half male, half female. Do you mean the participants or yes? Mhm.
And where did you identify them? How did you identify them?
So I had interviewed staff that were generally responsible for providing oversight of the Access Center program. So in a supervisory role. So depending on the organization, that could be a program coordinator or a program supervisor, director.
Was there a specific region or scope for where your population was based or housed?
Yes, LA County.
So all of this data that you're providing and speaking on is all LA County specific data.
Mm-hmm.
And of the organizations that you vetted, are these county organizations? Are they nonprofits? Are they veteran service, veteran focusing? Like,
These are county programs that are not veteran focused. Yeah, so I specifically wanted to look at the other side of triage and resource allocation, specifically outside of the Veteran Access Network, because I was very curious to see how veterans are being transitioned through that system, especially for those who cannot access the federal, like the VA and your mainstream kind of VA resources and services.
and the VA squares
Mhm.
that you mentioned, that access is that specifically for non-VA? It's for all?
It's for everyone. Police departments can use it. It was really created to remove barriers to help veterans to get quicker access, I think, to care and resources.
And that's just for care identification, or are there other things that are listed in that?
So it allows you to see their character of discharge, which oftentimes will also provide more questions, I mean, answers in terms of like if they're healthcare eligible and things like that. But it's at least it's a good basis to begin with services.
Questions? Question? Okay, so you mentioned VSOs and access centers.
Yes.
What were some of the VSOs and access centers that you used to collect your data?
I can't say specifically, but I can tell you that my participants were the 14 Access Center programs in the county.
Can you define the difference between, or explain the difference between the VSO and the access center?
Yeah, so Access Center programs, well, Veteran Services Organizations, so they could provide GPD, SSVF, but they're specific to Veteran Services versus Access Center programs are more like drop-in centers. They provide case management. They also can come in, individual come in and take a shower, maybe some light touch like health services and things like that. But it's just a drop-in center for anyone experiencing homelessness within that service planning area.
Okay, so not necessarily a veteran organization.
No.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for that.
Mhm.
So I guess we don't have any further questions. I just want to say thank you for coming out and giving us a presentation. Thank you for the work and research you did for this project and the work that you continue to do in your day-to-day work.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so moving on to agenda item number 9, we were notified yesterday that the speakers for agenda item number 9 were not going to be able to make it. So we will be tabling that presentation for a future meeting. So we moving on to agenda item number 10. And that is the director's report from the chief deputy.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Thank you for having me once again. Become a trend. All right. For our report, I'm pleased to share that our Justice Involved Veteran Program continues to expand its reach and impact. In May, the team extended services to the Van Nuys courts and assisted 4 veterans in securing housing following incarceration, and was selected to join the county's new JCOD Warm Landing Advisory Committee. In addition, last week, we had our first a dedicated subcommittee through CCJCC to support cross-agency collaboration for justice-involved veterans. At the same time, our Homeless Services Division remains a vital access point for veterans in need. In May alone, the team served 63 veterans experiencing homelessness and filed over 100 claims, demonstrating the department's continued commitment to connecting unhoused veterans with critical resources and benefits. Lastly, as we continue to expand our programs and services, we are also working to ensure our facilities are governed by clear and sustainable policies. And this is part of the report that the director passed on earlier to you guys. And what we're trying to do is propose Bob Hope Patriotic Hall Building Use Guidelines, which reaffirms the county's commitment to veteran serving organizations while introducing more transparent and consistent standards for use. The proposed guidelines clarify eligibility requirements, prioritize mission-aligned events, and establish a tiered structure that maintains free or discounted access for qualified groups, especially 501c19s, veteran service organizations, and veteran serving 501c3s. These groups will continue to host impactful events that directly benefit the veteran community while also contributing to long-term sustainability through reinvested revenue. So to ensure transparency and commitment, we plan to, we hope to agendize the guidelines for next month's meeting, and we will invite the Warrior Heritage Foundation to provide a presentation and to propose, seek feedback from the public. And hopefully we can do that by the next commission meeting. And that's the end of my report. I'll take any questions if you have any.
Commissioners, any questions for the Chief Deputy?
I do have questions. Are you able to speak on the proposed guidelines, or should I save that for the? I have a couple of questions.
You read them really, really
I
fast.
did. I read everything before you started speaking.
Yeah, no, I recommend that you wait till the next meeting because now it'll give the foundation an opportunity to address anything that we can't as an organization. And I just got these today, so I don't want to misspeak or misrepresent any of the information on that.
Okay, and just so it's on the record for, just for record purposes, my questions will be about, the eligibility criteria, just making sure if that is inclusive of, so the only ones that it's inclusive of. I had a couple of questions on the mission alignment, making sure that what they listed was not all inclusive, and that these are primarily veteran services events, and so how do they categorize that? And then I'm asking a couple of questions about the evaluation process regarding attendance and clarification on the tiering number 7.
And those are all great questions for the foundation.
Thank you.
I would like to just ask for clarification. Does this at all change county's relationship with the Warrior Heritage Foundation, or is this kind of just a way for us to evolve that current relationship?
I believe it's a way to evolve that relationship.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Any other
Questions,
questions?
Commissioners? No? Do you, the women's event that happened, do you have any preliminary numbers or any information on that?
Thank you for bringing that up. So the event was phenomenal. It was very remarkable. Despite what was going on around us, we got a good number. We got around 80 women that showed up, including some of our commissioners. And, it really felt intimate, and the women that did attend really felt that it was, a more intimate, type of setting, especially with all the resources that we had. The resources and our resource vendors were very pleased with the amount of interaction and engagement that happened. And we definitely are going to bring some of what we learned from the women that we engage with back into those work groups that we're going to start setting up for this upcoming years to prepare us for next year's event. We also sent out some surveys, and we did get some responses, and they were pretty positive. But like always, we're always looking to improve and see what else we can do to make the event, more accessible, maybe a virtual session, not quite sure. But we will definitely include all of the commissioners in that planning, especially, our women commissioners in that planning for next year.
Yeah, so I guess that's something we didn't consider, that there was be an impact, because I believe that was a day of protest, right?
It was a day of protest and we did have 80, we did sell out. We had 150 sell out. So we added an additional, I believe 10 or 20, and we got 163 confirmed RSVPs, but unfortunately only half of that showed up.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, with everything that was going on. So thank you for that.
Of course.
Any other questions from the commission? Anything? No. All right. Well, thank you for the director's report.
Thank you.
So that is agenda item number 10. Moving on to agenda item number 11, future agenda items. Do any of the commissioners have any agendas for future items? No. Any future items?
I have one.
Yes.
Yeah, today we had a report for Foster Warriors. I would like to have them on a future agenda item, kind of specify the program and the impact as well. I know them to have had an event here at Bob Hope Patriotic Hall, and I'd like to kind of have them further expand on that impact so that veterans have the ability to engage in our foster youth network in Los Angeles County.
Yeah, agreed. I'd like to see a little bit more on that as well. You have a point of context for that? So
yes, I do.
Okay, so
I'll handle that.
Thank you. Commissioner Fulmer, Foster Warriors, added as an agenda item. Any other agenda items from the commissioners? Yes, Commissioner?
Yes. I would just like to make sure that we revisit the master plan and care treatment. Make sure that that's on the next agenda as well.
Master plan and care treatment?
Yeah,
She's saying not to take it off the agenda.
right.
Yeah.
Would you table that? Let's table.
Yeah, I believe we're still waiting for approval from the VA for their speakers to
Okay,
come
I'll
out.
make sure if I put on the notes.
So, yes, so
Almost made it this time.
we're getting closer. So, thank you, Commissioner Jackson Kelly. Any other agenda items?
Yes. Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Noyola.
Yes, I would like to also request that although the VA, we're waiting on them, that we don't lose sight of that and we continue to keep that on the future agenda items so that it's a constant reminder that there's an IOU out there. Secondly, if you recall last month, there was the presidential executive order that came out concerning the West VA campus and providing up to 6,000 housing units for unhoused veterans. And I believe that the comment that we received back was that we need to wait for the report that is due back to, I believe, the Board of Supervisors. I think we ought to have a placekeeper on this agenda or future agenda item so that we don't lose sight of that one and ensure that we also receive some sort of update as to those findings that will touch on that executive order and how that might be handled here at the local level. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Noyola. So for the record, we're going to keep VA items on the agenda at the request of Commissioner Noyola. Any other agenda items?
And I'll add really quick.
Commissioner Fulmer?
I believe the agenda item with the Veterans Collective right there could also have provisions to that report a little bit. I know that Commissioner Palmero is out right now. However, I know as agenda item number 5 may help to also satisfy that some questions that we may have based on the last executive order.
And we forgot to announce that there was a change on the commission. Commissioner Emmons has left the commission. So will we can put you down for the
Yeah.
third district? Okay.
Yes, he satisfied by leaving me the pass downs of what needs to be done, so I'll act as commissioner.
So we do wish him the best. And he left you presents. We appreciate that. So, okay, so yeah, so you will take over those.
Yes.
And any other future agenda items? We're good. Good, okay. So that's it for agenda item number 12 or number 11. Moving on to agenda item number 12, commissioner announcements. Commissioner Crooks, any announcements?
No announcements.
No announcements? Commissioner Jackson.
I know it's a shock.
Well,
I usually have something, but I know announcement this time.
well, you kind of took my thunder away.
I didn't mean to.
I wanted to comment about the women's program, and I want to thank Deputy Saldana for the wonderful program that was a personal benefit for me. And I think that having the Department of Aging here was significant. And I want to know that I went to them and they immediately responded to my requests of some of the issues that I've been having with my husband as far as placement. So I want to thank you for that. I thought it was very well done, and I thought that the atmosphere was just absolutely wonderful, the way that the women were networking and enjoying each other. Thanks again.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner McFadden?
No announcements, but just feedback on the event as well. I was unable to attend, but I heard amazing things about it. And the only request was that if it could be virtual or have some virtual elements for it next year, so that more people can be able to attend when they're unable to or something happens. So
Yeah, we
That's
can
it.
definitely talk about that during the planning and see how we can facilitate that because it is important. And, where we're located, it's people from Antelope Valley, we're thinking of those groups that are, just the accessibility of it. We need to make sure that it's accessible to everybody. So that's a great point.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Chavez?
No specific announcements from me, but just another thank you to Director Zenner. He was our keynote speaker at AVC's Veteran Pre-Commencement dinner that we had the end of last month. We're already in June. Oh my gosh. But again, just a big shout out. I know it's a trek, so we do appreciate the support that we do receive from our counties. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Fulmer / Evans?
Yes, a couple of things. Thank you, from both of us. First and foremost, big shout out to the Greater Los Angeles VA Network. Yesterday was our veteran outreach program. We went through West LA. We had Village for Vets present, PATH was present, VPAN. Even interim director Sally Hammett was there. So it's great when upper leadership gets boots on the ground to see the way that the streets are changing. It had been a little bit since I've been doing my homeless outreach locally in West LA, and these encampments are moving and changing and disappearing. It's truly turning into a different atmosphere out there. So I always recommend more boots on the ground engagement. They even provided a mobile medical unit for us to get closer medical access to the veterans that we did find on the streets. I'm really grateful for that. It's always near and dear to my heart to help identify and find vets. Also want to make note to the Bunker Socials. Bunker Social is at West LA VA from 11 to 3, where we have lunch and you can meet with your veteran peers to get access. Now we also have it at Sepulveda VA. It's on 9700 Woodley Avenue outside of the garden there. And from 11 to 1, we provide food for the veterans at Sepulveda. Happy to announce that on Monday, we had over 20 veterans show up on just the third week. So very, very exciting news for that. And then the last thing is if you have not checked out the Peer Center on the West LA VA, you're highly encouraged to. It's on the North Campus, building 306, connected to the cafe. It's open Monday through Friday. And it's set up more like a lounge. So I always highly encourage the veterans to show up there, see what's going on. Monday evenings is a women's veteran social hour from 5 to 6, and there's so many things starting to go on for engagement to the vets, and we are looking forward to these types of programs being expanded across the county, so it's not so centric on only West LAVA. But that's it for this item.
Thank you. Commissioner Zato?
Forgot to mention it last month, but want to thank the city of Torrance for their annual Armed Forces Parade and static displays. Got a lot of great feedback from the community and veterans about being able to engage. They had a static display set out outside the Lama Mall also that was a just very popular place. Saw a lot of kids and families there. So I know it's an annual thing, but forgot to mention it last month. So it was just a great turnout in Torrance.
Thank you, commissioners. And for me, I was able to attend this 27th annual tribute to veterans and military families. And as always, that's something that I look forward to every year since leaving the service. A really good event. The flyover always has the flyover is always impressive. So thank you for all those that were able to attend that event. So that's it for commissioner announcements for agenda item number 12. Now we're moving on to agenda item number 13. So this is the new format, the public comments for agenda items. So if we have any public comments on agenda items. So if you would like to come up, just state your name and you will have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Perante. I am a Marine Corps veteran and I have been experiencing my third period of homelessness since military service. This current period of homelessness began at the end of November 2024. Throughout this period, I've actively sought support through the VA, SSBF, and other affiliated programs, only to encounter consistent and often harmful barriers, most of which stemmed from breakdowns in communication and mismanagement of my case data. One of the biggest issues I faced is the lack of direct access to update or clarify information in my own HMIS file. Veterans are often required to relay critical personal updates through overburdened and untrained case managers. In my experience, these intermediaries frequently mischaracterized or filtered my information, whether intentionally or not. As a result, essential referrals were delayed, or worse, I was inaccurately portrayed as unwilling to engage or non-compliant with housing efforts, which couldn't have been further from the truth. This isn't just frustrating, it's damaging. It can mean the difference between stable housing and falling through the cracks. I believe it is time for Los Angeles County and its partners to explore a model where veterans are empowered to directly contribute to or review their HMIS data. Transparency in our own files would help prevent miscommunication, reduce case manager bias, and allow veterans to take an active role in their own recovery and reintegration process. We are not just service recipients, we are stakeholders in the system, and we deserve to be seen, heard, and represented accurately. Thank you for your time and your attention on this matter.
Thank you. Any other public comments on agenda items? Please.
Crystal Rains,
Crystal
Air
Rains.
Force veteran. I want to echo my comments and thank you to Deputy Sultana. It was a beautiful event. We've talked about some of the things I think you can update, but and virtual would also be good. There was definitely things that could be done. There were great presenters. I ended up somewhere where I didn't mean to and got all kinds of information that was good to know. I ended up at the employment one. I also want to thank Commissioner Fulmer for the shout out for the Women Veteran Social Hour. We've had between 7 and 19 women show up over the past 10 sessions. The only time we haven't met was Memorial Day, and we all missed each other. Prior to it starting, Commissioner McFadden extended a request for something in Area 2. I want to talk to you about that. And I also, because I'm still trying to figure out all these areas, but I need to know who is area around Pasadena/East LA, because I get a lot of women who do not want to come to the West LA campus because of traffic. And I think that we can extend this. It's been very, very supportive. We've had really, really good feedback. We have a lot of returnees. We don't have an RSVP, so if you're on the West LA campus and you know a woman veteran, we have people who drive up from Watts, drive down from Burbank, and we had somebody from Long Beach the other day. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments in person? Any public comments online? Okay, great, thank you. So that's no more public comments. So that's agenda item number 13. Moving to agenda item number 14. So this meeting is adjourned.